Hello and welcome to the Latah Valley Fiber Co. podcast. My name is Tiffany. Thank you all so much for joining me today. We're wrapping up the end of the year here, 2024, and it's been a fun year. I've really enjoyed vlogging, and I did a Vlogmas, Christmas Vlogmas. So if you want to check that out, I'll put some links below. Also, if you want to follow me online, Instagram at Latah Valley Fiber Co. You can check out my shop, latahvalleyfiberco.etsy.com, where currently I am having a 25% off sale on everything until the 31st of December. You can direct message me, lvfiberco@gmail.com, and I am bringing in a new colorway for January. Should drop in the shop that first week. Not 100% on the date yet, so I'll put that out there. I have a few finished items and a new item I'm going to cast on, so we'll talk about that as well. Let's start off with the big one, my son's sweater. Now this pattern was by Meghan Babin. It's called the Awen. I knit it out of Berocco Vintage in the colorway Smoke. And I cast on for the size that was 39.5 across the chest. It's knit in pieces. That's the other thing, is it's knit in pieces. And so you do two sleeves, a front and a back, and then you seam them together and you cast on for the collar. This is what it turned out to be. It is a beautiful and fun pattern. I did struggle with, let's see, I cast this on 10:30. So that first couple of days I did struggle a little bit with the cables. But once I figured that out, it went relatively easy, and it was really nice and engaging. All the cables and the patterning on the sides, it's a seed stitch, was just very engaging. It just kept me going and going and going and going. So it was a lot of fun. The patterning on the front is the same as the back. And I would probably knit this again. In fact, I asked my husband if he wanted one, and he said no. I think that's because this is actually a really slim, it doesn't have a lot of ease. It's really tailored and slim fitting, which is ideal for my son, who's slender, but not so much for someone who's a little bulkier. So I did cast on the collar, and then I knit 3 inches or 2.5, and then folded it over and stitched it in, which is in the directions. That's what she wants you to do. There is a mistake along the front left collarbone here, and that is simply because of how I was decreasing and carrying those stitches along there. It's not really clear, you know, you knit a certain amount of inches and then you start binding off, and anyway, so this is really janky and I don't like it. I'm not sure how to fix it though. So I knew when I was doing it that I was like, oh, this is gonna be on the edge. I wonder how that's gonna look. Maybe I'll pick up for the collar and just kind of fold that under. Well, that didn't look good either. So, but overall, this was a very fun knit, very engaging, kept me going. And actually, I've never done a pieced sweater before where you do pieces and then seam it together. The seaming went really easy. I thought that there's no directions. It just says to seam. And this being my first seam sweater, I just did my best. And actually, you can't even tell that it's a little, if it's off or weird at all. So, you know, hopefully it will endure for the short time my son will be wearing it. Okay. The other project that I finished was the Colorwork Cuff Club for November. These are for my mom. And I started these in, I did start them in November, the 26th. So, Summer Lee drops the Colorwork Cuff Club for the month on the 1st. I was really busy trying to wrap up Hudson's sweater in time for Christmas, so I didn't cast them on until the 26th. This is the pattern by Summer Lee, and the yarn is Latah Valley Fiber Co., which is my own hand-dyed yarn, plus the colorway portion is by Polka Dot Sheep. It's in the Whiskey Sunset colorway. It was a leftover from my husband's Advent. I knit the socks on DPNs 2.25, and I cast on 64 stitches. Again, these are for my mom. The cuff I did was 2 inches. I'll just show you 2 inches. And then I did knit 2 rounds before starting the colorwork portion. I also additionally knit another 2 rounds at the end before I started the heel, flap, and gusset. And then I knit for several inches. By the time you get through the gusset, it's like 4 inches before starting the toe. And I really like these. These are lovely. I have a little bit of this yarn left over, so I'm thinking I might make a shorty pair for myself. Plus, my husband gave me yarn for Christmas, so I've got lots of fun knitting ahead. So I do have 2 pair, 2, and I'm going to give these to my mom. I see her Saturday. We're going to a family get-together, and I'm going to put those in a little box for her to take home and open. Then I need to maybe cast on another pair of socks. Okay, so these I finished 12/26, 1 month. Took me to knit that. But again, I was really focused on my son's sweater. So, okay, that's it for knitting finished objects. Let's talk about spinning. So for Advent this year, I did an Advent spin where I would open a clump of fiber and spin that for the day. And I spun, I think there were 20 in this bundle. And here they are. So I spun these every day of Advent except for 4 days. And then I 2-plied them together and I got a barber pulled yarn. I really like it. Now there are 2 that I really, really like and 1 I don't really like. This was the first one. And I opened randomly. So I spun whatever that was for the day. I filled a bobbin, and then I took that bobbin off, loaded another bobbin, filled that bobbin, and then I 2-plied them together. This has a little more pink and pizzazz. It's there is a little bit of blue in this pink one here, but and there's white. Now this one I started to really like, the dark. I think if you're doing a barber pulled, for my personal enjoyment, is that it's more dark. See, and then look at this one. See, it just looks really nice and kind of chic looking. Whereas I think this one is like, oh, it's a little out there. And then this one was my last one, and it is real dark. There's a little bit of purple here, but it's dark. overall. So those were fun to spin. They were a little much to spin every day, and I got behind a little bit during Advent, but not too bad actually. And I feel like with producing a yarn like this that I'll want to use worked a little bit better than doing mini Advents, which are very common. It's very common to buy a mini Advent calendar and open a mini a day, and then you can either put them in sock. I mean, there's so many different things you can put them in, but you know, you can't tell the color, which I couldn't tell the color with these either, but I still feel like I'll use this a little bit more. Plus they're full skeins. This one's a little on the heavy end, and this one's a little on the light end. So I could have maybe figured that out a little bit better, but I feel like overall it went really well. It was a lot of fun to do, and I'm excited to cast on for a project with these. We'll see what I can come up with. Okay, that is it for finished objects for this week. I have a cast on coming up, and I have the yarn here. Now this project, I dyed this specifically for a pair of socks for a customer, and she wants knee-high socks that will show over her boots. So actually it's just below the knee. So I did dye up, she wanted red, and I did dye up 2 skeins just so that I would have enough in case, because it's going to be the full sock. The cuff, the toe, and the heel will all be the same color as the rest of the sock. So I needed 2. This is not a colorway I carry in my shop, but I do have something similar, which is on sale right now, 25% off, if you like this. There's something very similar. It's just slightly different. It's more on the pinkish side, although it depends on how you look at it. Sometimes, depending on your monitor, it looks different, but it is a red. Okay, so I'm not going to do a pattern. I'm going to cast these on today, but I'm not going to do a pattern. I'll do a 2-inch rib or cuff, and then I'm going to, I'm just going to do a ribbed sock, and maybe I'll have, I'm going to do these cuff down. So I will maybe do a few more stitches over, because that's going to be her calf, which is typically bigger than your ankle and foot. So I might add a few stitches in there, and then as I get down towards the ankle, I'll just decrease it a little bit, and but I'm not following a pattern. I've knit so many socks that I should be able to figure it out on my own. I'm thinking of doing a 3x1 ribbed pattern along the entire leg until I get to the heel. I'll do the heel, and then I'll do a ribbed over the top of the foot, but not the bottom. I think that's the plan. Okay, so there's no timeline on that. I should have it done within a week or 2 for sure, to give those to her. And she did not have a timeline as far as I know. She just wanted a pair that were red. Okay, the next thing I want to share with you is my husband blessed me for Christmas this year. He got me a gift card to our local yarn shop, Paradise Fiber, and then he also picked up 2 skeins of sock yarn. This is Sock Yeah by Coop Knits. This is Obsidian is the colorway, and this one is called Sugalite. So that'll be a fun pair. Now these are a fun pair of socks. These are 50 gram minis, or not minis, 50 gram skeins. So that should make a nice pair of socks for me. And then he also got me some spinning supplies, 2 bobbins, I have 4 bobbins currently, so this will bring me to 6, which is nice because when you're spinning and then plying yarn together, it's really helpful to have bobbins that you can do that with. It would be interesting to do maybe a 3 or 4 ply yarn, pulling it off bobbins instead of chain plying. So that'll be interesting. Also, he got me a new set of needles. These are the Chow Twist Red Lace Interchangeable, and this is the smaller set that does, let's see, 2.75 millimeter to 5 millimeter. So that will be amazing. These are the 5-inch needles, which are helpful. I really can't do the short. It hurts my hands too much. So this was a sweet treat. I'm really thrilled about that. So thank you, hubby, for all the Christmas goodies this year. I think that's it for today. I do want to do an episode of everything I knit in 2024. I also need to show off my temperature blanket, which is over there. I have finished it. I finished it early because I was doing a previous year. So I do want to show that off to you as well. I may do that the first episode of 2024. So, Happy New Year. I hope you all are doing well, and I'll see you in a couple weeks for another episode. Happy knitting.